Hey, just want to look at two verses today, and this is taking us in a little bit different direction with, they're going to talk about a census, which is so fascinating to see how God provides through Scripture for the Israelites and for us, as Christians grafted into the vine of Abraham, as it says in the New Testament. He provides direction for us in all areas of our lives. And even here they talk about a census. Verse 11, it says, "Then the Lord said to Moses, whenever you take a census of the people of Israel, each man who is counted must pay a ransom for himself to the Lord. Then no plague will strike the people as you count them." And so we see this in the Old Testament. When they take a census and it's not done in the fashion that God commands them, a plague strikes the people. It's so fascinating to me. So in the book of Numbers, there's two significant censuses that were recorded. So God makes a provision for how to do this without a plague. So why did a census of the people put the nation at risk of God's judgment? That's so interesting. In these countries at this time, a census signified ownership. And Moses didn't own the people. David wouldn't own the people. Solomon wouldn't own the people. Saul didn't own the people. God did. At the end of the day, God owned the nation of Israel. They were His people called by His name. So to take a census in a way that was not honoring to God spoke against God's ownership. Their thought process was a man had the right to count or number what belonged to him, and Israel did not belong to man. Israel belonged to God. So they were His special people called by Him, called out from Egypt, called going all the way back to Genesis chapter 12 with Abraham. When he was called, He says, "I will make your name great. Your descendants will be like the grains of sand on the seashore, stars in the sky." So Abraham and his descendants are God's people, God's chosen people. So he talks about a ransom, right? He must pay a ransom for himself to the Lord. This was an offering that was brought to signify the man's ownership by the Lord. So if a count was made without receiving this communicated that idea that a king or a human owned. This was David's problem. David actually breaks this and does a census improperly in 2 Samuel chapter 24. And when David took the census without the ransom being paid, showing honor to God of who the people really belong to, the plague struck. So we'll unpack some more of this tomorrow and deal with a little bit more about this census and the ransom and how all of this works. You guys have a good day.